So in season 4, they tried to nerf Bash Barbarian into the ground with its Bash Cleave Tempers. Yeah, that did not work out. What's up, everybody? Ghosted here, and I wanted to show off my favorite build for Barbarian, and that would be the Bash Barbarian. So you might be curious, what's so cool about using a basic skill for your main form of damage? And I would say it's called Bash for a reason. You're bashing the shit out of demons for millions of damage. At a certain point, you do get to hundreds of millions of damage. And once you have the best gear in the game, that then turns into billions of damage. And in Diablo, that's kind of the whole point, right? So I'm going to break it all down for you, and I will have a build linked in the description, and it will also be a pinned comment down below the video as well. And let's get into that. All right, we're going to jump straight into talking about the gear for this specific build. And to make it easy as possible for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and show the legendaries, the normal uniques, and the mythic uniques for each gear slot if it is needed. So that way you're confident in what gear you should be using. Okay, so starting off with our helmet, you're going to want the Undying aspect. The stats that you want are strength, max life, and cooldown. You want to go ahead and masterwork the cooldown, and for tempers, you want challenging shout cooldown, and you also want crowd control duration. All right, and the mythic unique that you want for your helmet is obviously going to be the Harlequin's crest. It has insane cooldown on it, and you want to go ahead and masterwork the cooldown reduction as well. For our chest, we do start with the Iron Blood aspect, with the stats being strength, fury per second, and resistance to all elements. Also, you want to make sure that you masterwork the resistance to all elements, so you can go ahead and cap that. And again, tempering challenging shout cooldown as well as crowd control duration. All right, and for our mythic chest piece, that's going to go ahead and be Tyrael's Might. It does now have just raw damage reduction percentage on it, which is actually insane. So you also want to go ahead and masterwork the damage reduction. And for our gloves, you really want to use the unique Paingorger's gauntlets with ranks to basic skills masterworked. This is definitely going to be the best gloves for Bash build by far. Now, if you do have any trouble obtaining Paingorger's gauntlet, just go ahead and farm Beast in the Ice. Even on the normal difficulty, these should drop. It just takes Distilled Fear, I believe. So not too bad. Okay, and for our pants, you want to go with the aspect of Might. You also want stats strength, life, as well as ranks to Bash. And you're going to want to go ahead and masterwork the ranks to Bash. Your tempers are going to be challenging shout cooldown as well as crowd control duration. Okay, so our boots are going to have the hectic aspect with movement speed, fury per second, as well as ranks to Warcry. You really want to masterwork the Warcry as well as tempering the movement speed and more crowd control duration. Okay, and for our amulet, this is going to have the adaptability aspect on it. You're also going to want cooldown reduction, crit strike chance, as well as ranks to heavy-handed. You really want to masterwork the ranks to heavy-handed. If you don't get it, it's understandable. And the tempers are going to be crit strike damage and Warcry cooldown. Okay, ring number 1 will be aspect of Inner Calm with attack speed, crit chance, and crit strike damage. If you don't get one of those, strength is also okay. You want to masterwork the crit chance as well as tempering damage while berserking and Warcry cooldown. Okay, for ring number 2, that's going to be the Bold Chieftain's aspect. You're going to want attack speed, crit chance, and chance to make enemies vulnerable. Go ahead and masterwork the crit chance as well. Temper that damage while berserking and also Warcry cooldown. If you have the mythic ring, Ring of the Starless Skies, this is preferred as it actually matches up with our unique one-handed sword that we'll be talking about in just a second here. If you have that, masterwork crit chance. All right, and for our two-handed mace, we actually want Moonrise aspect with strength, life, and crit strike damage. You also want to go ahead and temper the crit strike damage, but make sure that you masterwork the Bash Cleave temper. That's the most important thing by far. Next up is our two-handed weapon. That's going to be a two-handed sword. The aspect you want on there is the rapid aspect. The stats you want are again strength, life, crit strike damage. And again, you want to temper the Bash Cleave and crit strike damage, masterwork the Bash Cleave. And for our two-handed mythic, this is actually going to be the Grandfather, aka the
Grandpapa.
And we masterwork all stats. If you do get like damage percentage or max life or even maximum resource, that's fine too, honestly. All right, and for our one-handers, this is going to be the one-handed sword. This one's going to be a legendary with the Edgemaster aspect. You're going to want the stats strength, maximum life, crit strike damage. The tempers are going to be damage while berserking, and also Bash Cleave. Again, masterwork the Bash Cleave on that. All right, and for our second one-hander, it's going to be a unique sword called Shard of Virathiel. You can get this unique randomly, like doing world bosses. You can also target farm this by doing the Infernal Hordes game mode and just getting the gear chest at the end of that. This does make Bash cost resource, but it increases Bash's damage by a big percentage, depending on how good the one that you find is, okay? Mine's not the best, but you can definitely find better. And for this, you want to masterwork the basic skills for more damage, but a basic attack speed as well as maximum resource is just fine as well. Also, you can pair the unique helmet Crown of Lucian with Shard of Verithiel to increase damage if you don't have Harlequin's Crest and you're using a legendary, so that's an option as well. And I'm going to have a planner for that too. And again, the build will be linked in the description and pinned as a comment down below, so you can see all the gear there at any time. I really am trying to cover all my bases with this build video, so if you appreciate what I'm doing, help your boy out, leave a like on the video as well as consider subscribing. I really am trying to reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate it. Okay, so the rotation for Bash Barbarian is super easy. You'll see once you critically strike with Bash 4 times, that's going to allow your next core skill to overpower. Ours being Hammer of the Ancients, when that overpowers, it's going to increase our damage by 40% for 5 seconds. So again, that pops up. Hammer of the Ancients, pop your shouts. If you need to make enemies fucking vulnerable, Steel Grasp, or if you need to pull them in, you just keep that going. That's the rotation. Okay, and for the weapon expertise, you just go with two-handed axe here. It gives you an increased damage percentage for vulnerable damage. So that's like the best one. It always has been for Bash. All right, so now we're looking at our skills. Of course, we're going to put 5 points into Bash and then go up to Combat Bash. Then we come down to Hoda, go up and get Violent Hammer of the Ancients. This is how you overpower for a ton of damage. Then you come down, you want 3 ranks to Imposing Presence, 3 ranks to Martial Vigor, put 1 point into Rallying Cry, and then go to... I would go to Strategic Rallying Cry. If you're having trouble with Fury Generation, then Tactical Rallying Cry. 1 point into Outburst and 1 point into Toughest Nail. This is how we make enemies bleed. 1 point into Challenging Shout, going to Tactical Challenging Shout. Then you want to come down to War Cry, and then you want to get Power War Cry. That's going to increase damage by a little bit. Then you take 3 points into Booming Voice. It makes your shouts last longer. And then 2 points into Raid Leader. This helps your teammates out a little bit. From there, you come down to Aggressive Resistance, gives damage reduction. If you're having trouble generating Fury, again, take points out of Raid Leader, put it into Prolific Fury. After that, we come down, we get 3 points into Pit Fighter, 3 points into Slaying Strike, 1 point into Steel Grasp, up to Fighter Steel Grasp. Then 1 point into Thick Skin, 3 points into Counter Offensive. And then we come down, we want 3 points into Heavy Handed, 3 points into Brute Force, 3 points into Wallop. And then for your key passive, that's going to be Unconstrained. All right, so now we're on to our Paragon board, and just going to go over this really quickly. Again, the build planner will have this laid out for you at any time, so you can always go there to look at it. But the Paragon board, the starting board is going to just go ahead and be Exploit. And then we're going to come up to Warbringer. And then that's going to be Ire. Then we come over to the right. The third board is Carnage. And the glyph is Might. From there, we actually go up. This glyph is Blood Rage. Or, I'm sorry, this board is Blood Rage. And this glyph is Martial. Then we go over Decimator. And then Crusher. And then we go back down to actually our third board, and we come down and we get Bonebreaker. So yeah, even though they nerfed Bash Barbarian at the end of Season 4, it's still one of Barbarian's hardest hitting builds, and I do highly recommend it. It's my favorite by a long shot. And that's actually the end of the build guide video. I do want to thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm trying my best to provide good videos out here. A lot of Diablo build creators do a really good job. I'm trying to step my game up too. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or concerns or anything, feel free to leave a comment on this video. or just jump in my chat when I go live. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ghosted. And I also go live over here on YouTube. So again, just please take a second to like the video and also subscribe. You'll see when I go live that way too. So yeah, if you guys would consider subscribing, that's going to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, really trying to hit that goal. So again, I do appreciate it. And that's actually it for the video. I do thank all of you, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.